Hey YouTube, this is going to be a quick deck profile of my Xsaber deck that I will be taking to regionals. I may be taking offers on this deck, so if you're after it, give me an offer and I might be willing to sell it. But yeah, we start off with 3 Xsaber full troll, which is pretty standard. I personally think 3 is better than 2, just because it's more explosive than having 2 full trolls. So you can play much faster to discard their hand or to swarm them. Then we have 3 Bogart Knights. This is again pretty stable, gives you the Gothams. You got to run it in any Xsaber deck. 2 Bellum. A lot of people only run 1. I prefer 2 still because it's a really nice card to have early in the game to just start discarding their hand pretty quickly. 3 Full Helm Knights. One of the best cards in the deck. Gives you really easy field advantage. Negates attacks that you can easily get out of Gothams, full troll. 3 Emma's Blade. Really good this format to have 3 Emma's Blade. It allows you to slam into cards, fill up your grave faster, get out things like Dark Souls and Bogarts from your deck to power over your opponent. Really useful card. We got 1 Ragagura. You only need 1. Allows you to recycle the full troll, gets the full troll loop going. 2 Pashul. A lot of people only run 1. I think 2 staple because it allows you just to block off Sams and defend before you can get like out your swarm for Gothams or for Naturia Beast or anything like that. Makes Naturia Beast successful in this deck as well, which is really important because that card is immense. 3 Dark Soul. You have to run 3. Searches out any Xsaber in the deck. Pretty stable, and as the searches stack, it's a ridiculous advantage machine. 1 Super Nimble and 1 Effect Veiler. Again, pretty staple for this format, I'd say, to have the Effect Veiler in. And the Super Nimble just gives me something that's a bit harder for my opponent to get over to help me search out the Dark Soul or the Air Bellum, and it allows me to have something that will let me go Black Rose. We now move on to the spell cards. We've got 1 Book of Moon, 1 Enemy Controller, and 1 Mind Control. This is your standard sort of disruption lineup. Enemy Controller in particular probably wouldn't be there if Book was still in the game, but it still allows you to play some pretty broken plays, and I'm actually thinking about taking this out for a creature swap. Tell me what you think about that. I just think that with 3 Emma's Blade it's quite easy to take their big monster, give them an Emma's Blade, run into it, and then make massive plus. Imagine in a mirror match doing that could be really fatal, because if they give you their Full Helm Knight and you give them a defense position Emma's Blade, you're going to get 2 pluses off that battle, which is going to be insane. 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. I don't particularly like running this card, but with Sams being rampant, with Blackwing still actually being pretty good, it's kind of a necessity. Gravekeepers as well, you've got to have something that allows you in the first game to take out their warning set, their Royal Oppression set. 1 Giant Trunade, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Monster Reborn. Again, pretty staple cards there. Then for my trap lineup, got Gothams Equal and Call of the Haunted. I used to run 2 Gothams Equal, but I put this in instead because when you open up first turn with Gothams Equal, that can be quite dead if you haven't got a really Xsaber rich hand along with it. So this guy allows you to revive, say, a dead Emma's Blade, and then the card that Emma's Blade searched means that you have the cards capable of getting full troll out, as opposed to being stuck with a Gothams Equal that you can't use for another turn still. It's just, I think, more consistent. 1 Trap Stun. A lot of you run 2, but because I'm running 2 7 tools as well, I just stick to 1. The reason why I'm running 2 7 tools is because it gives you a bit of an edge in the first game against Gravekeepers, against Blackwings, and against 6 Samurai actually, because it means that they can't use warning constantly on you, they can't use double-edged sword technique as much, and it just means that I don't really need the extra trap stun. I can go with that. I took my Bottomless out for this because I thought it probably would do more considering all the cards that Bottomless doesn't kill anymore. 1 Torrential, 1 Mirror Force. I hate this card. I don't think it's particularly good anymore. with all the cards capable of just negating it. I would prefer to have 2D Prison, but I don't have the space, so I stick to Mirror Force instead. But yeah, I really don't think Mirror Force is that worth it. Torrential is just staple. Solemn Warning times 2 and a Solemn Judgment. Again, pretty staple cards there. I think most decks these days that are trying to be top tier will probably run those. And then for the extra deck, I'm running 2 Gothams. You need 2 in case they remove one, because this card is so vital and it lets you get over so much stuff. 2 Hyunnae, again pretty staple cards. 1 Urbellum and 1 Wayne. Don't particularly like either of these guys, but Wayne allows you just to keep some Xsaber field presence whilst having slightly higher attack, which means that if you're, say, got a Paschal and a Dark Soul and you need to get over something with a bit higher attack, you can synchro into Wayne, maybe special summon a card, maybe not, and then got Omzi Call for the Materia Beast while still having the Xsaber name. It can be a bit useful. Urbellum is necessary because Bogart can't synchro into anything other than Xsaber, so you need to have that there, unfortunately. Then 1 Materia Beast, 1 Materia Barkion. Both of them are actually pretty good. Barkion is a bit more limited than Beast because it can't do counter traps, and you struggle to deal with just deal with removing cast whilst kneeing cards in the grave. But you can get around that. Beast obviously is just a beast, it's incredible. 1 Mistworm, if I get extra Shula I'm taking this out straight away, but for the moment Mistworm's a pretty good card to have. 1 Scrap, brilliant with Full Troll and Dark Soul. 1 Stardust, staple. 1 Black Rose, damn nice card. I can only really synchro into it one way. I barely ever use it, but it still really needs to be in the deck because occasionally it's going to get you out of major scrapes. 1 Guy Knight Force of the Earth, just because Goyo's gone. 1 Bryanak because it's Bryanak, and 1 Uruquizas because it was between this and Armory Arm and Catasta. But the best cards of this format are dark for the most part. Things like Scrap Dragon, not Scrap Dragon, things like Shien, things like Arm Master, they're all dark. So Catasta is going to do little against that kind of stuff. So what you need is something that's going to get, and Spirit Reaper as well is a dark card, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. This card though allows you to do them damage while they have sitting behind Spirit Reaper, which forces them to play into something more offensive, which is really, really useful. It will force them to use a Dark Hole when they don't want to, something like that, because they can't sit there taking damage and having this thing's attack go up. But yeah. Then for the side deck, I have 2 Kinetic Soldier. That's obviously anti-Sam hate. 2 Raikou. That's for Gravekeepers. Side this in. Gives me an extra way of taking out their Necro Valley, and it gives me some mills to the grave which I can use later. 2 Noblemen, that's pretty good against Xsabers, pretty good against Gravekeepers, pretty good against Quick Draw or anything like that. 2 System Down, Anti-Machina, that's pretty obvious. 1 Soul Release for Light Swans, for zombies if I come across any, which is rare. 2 Bottomless, that's Blackwing, that's Xsaber, so quite a few decks that's pretty good against. 1 Dust Tornado, just that little bit extra to take down Gravekeepers. 2 Gozen's Match, and 1 Imperial Iron Wall.